Welcome. This is Crime Queen, and if you're joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we get excited about love. This is where we ignite that which dwells from within us, that which comes alive, makes us smile, makes us laugh. Hence, we say the crimson light is life. So, we are activating the endorphins in our bodies, and sending out that vibration, that 22 frequency out, and of course, with the word exit also equaling 22. Oh, this is just wonderful. It's like really saying that, yes, we are doing this, exiting this vibration. Of course, it comes back. What you give out is what returns onto you. So, there we go. This is what we are doing. We are igniting that which dwells from within us, which is the crimson light. And with that, we have also explored the word breath, because we have been looking at Eve and Christ and understanding the word sacrifice. Now, I just feel it is necessary to revisit this periodically, but now I'm just feeling that there is a need to have a further exploration even on these words right here. So there was another important thing that I had not really touched on actually in the first part of this breathe with number 5. So I think that's what we will call it, breathe with number 5. They say take 5, and 5 alive. There's so much about 5, our 5 fingers, our 5 toes, all numbers have their significance. But let's look at the significance of number 5, because 5 is positioned in the new position of or sacrifice template. Now, just to remind us what this template is, especially if you're new to this channel. So we are hinging onto the word sacrifice. We hinge onto sacrifice because we believe that the word sacrifice in itself, although it may be that which we do not understand very well, but also we believe that it also presents the answers that we are looking for. We cannot reject something if we do not understand it. And so we are looking to understanding how sacrifice has impacted our life so profoundly, and how we can make sense of that which has happened, or how we can use the factors of sacrifice to enable us to become better expressions and versions of who we are. All right, so before we continue, I am now believing that it's important when I'm doing these presentations to call forth intuition. Intuition, we call you forth into being and expression, and we call forth revelation, we call forth water, and we call forth these factors, or these, we call them entities. Let them reveal the truth, or let them reveal that which we are seeking to understand. Let them reveal and reflect that which we are meant to be, that we can evolve into. So this is it. We can't sort of abandon something that we do not understand altogether. Perhaps sometimes we have to do that, but it would be good to be able to have a sense of what it is we are shifting away from, because if we don't, we might only just embark on the very same thing, just under a different cloak or different package. Okay, so there we are with the word sacrifice, because what we like about intuition as well, intuition has 2 eyes, just like sacrifice. Now, when a word has eyes in it, I think it speaks volume. So there we are on, we are going to intuition. Let's just put this intuition. Okay, and these eyes are in direct correlation or direct order, direct flow with sacrifice. I think this is so delicious. This is why I get very excited. We do this intuitively and we see a pattern evolving. Now, the other beautiful thing about that is in these two, we also see that it's like having four eyes. Okay, we know we have two eyes here and we have the third eye, but it's like the mirror, it's mirroring that which we are. And talking about mirroring, of course, Revelation has an eye as well. So it'd be good to acknowledge Revelation here. Okay. And so it's Revelation. Let's have this hour here. So we have seen, just to give, especially if you're new to this, we have these columns that we add all these numerical values of the letters, and we have got 369, 369, 369. These come in blocks of threes, and each block, of course, when added together, comes to 999. So 3 nines are 27. I am now believing that 2 and 7 is really, wow. It's just come to mind now because I have just done this presentation on breath and saying that God did everything God did, He done it in twos. And so there was the light, and He saw it, meaning He divided it. We could say that. Of course, there's the seeing as well as sight, but He saw it because that's spelled to the same. And of course, it comes to the number 7 for the numerical value. So He saw the light. There was a greater light, there was a lesser light. He saw divided the waters. There were the waters from the firmament and the waters below. So everything God did, He done in twos. Now my question now is as well, if this is really how we are taught to believe it, and looking at our bodies, our physical bodies, in every aspect tells us the same. It's the same story. If we examine our bodies, we will see that everything is as above, so below. And so it would make sense for us to also examine the story of Adam and Eve. Now, I have been doing this intuitively, and it's through the numbers that I am reading into what is resonating as truth and resonating as teachings that are learnings that are necessary for our evolution as mankind. There is a story that we have been taught, and we all are a little bit confused as to what aspects of the story is true and what isn't. And we see that here we have now learned that Jesus Christ, which Jesus, the word Jesus is also 2, like I'm talking about 2. And 7, I was making reference to 7. So when God make that division, I will go back to Christ, that division, that 2 and 7. So the 7, when He saw, the word saw, which also equals 7, would denote that that 7 was in existence, or it was recognized. It was recognized even before we say that God rested on the 7th day. It meant that that day was already there. He rested on the 7th day. So that day, it was like saying, okay, I'm going to do this. How many days am I going to take to do this? In fact, I am learning a very profound lesson here, which have been taught by many teachers of visualization. But this here we are seeing in the numbers. So 7, it's like we learned that God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. On the 7th day, He rested. So 7 would have to have been there in existence and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And, I'm going to do this in 7 days. I'm going to repeat myself in this, it's like when it came to um, to man on the sixth day, or maybe just before the sixth day, where God said, let us make man in our own image and likeness. Now, something so profound has just come to mind, and it reflects in the last presentation I done on this subject, but in the numbers, the word us is 4. So my question was really, and in fact, I think I'm going to readdress this. So us, US, is 3 and 1 is 4. We can see how that 31 comes into the monthly calendar as well. So that 4 also comes as Father. Let us make man in our own image and likeness. 4 comes in way. 4 comes as presence. 4 comes as revelation. Revelation is 13. So revelation is revealing the flip side of this to us. This is what revelation is doing right now. And I'm glad that we are calling these factors, we call it into being, because that's what God did. He called the light, He called things into being. And that seed is passed on to us. And this is what I'm exercising here right now. So US, not the United, well, including the United States, US 31 is revelation. It's also way. It's also west. This is what happens in the west. It's also presence. As presence being everywhere, He said, let us. Now there would have to be presence. There would have to be a presence. So presence being 4 would mean that there had to be 4 of whatever in that saying, let us make man in our own image and likeness. Now, is it any wonder that presence as 4 and God, meaning 5, God 1 or 8 and 4, okay, we see that as 12, but let's just stick onto the numbers of entities here. If we were to say 4 and God, meaning Supreme Being God, there would be 5 entities. Is it any wonder perhaps that's why 5 is really the number that is centered, and that is the pinnacle of the template that we have here. Now we know 8 is infinite and whole. We know that. But also 8 is really the 0. This is what we are saying. 8 really is that 0 that has been twisted. So we know everything goes back onto itself. But we are just saying now, in that creation, and I know it may seem like we are stretching our imagination here, but really my point when I began this presentation was to highlight that when God said, let us make man in our own image and likeness, there was another presence there. And I think that is accepted by a lot of beliefs and traditions and practices. There was another presence. Now, some would say it was Jesus Christ. There was the Trinity. Some would say it was the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Okay, so then that would be 3. Okay, now, but when it came to the point where it said that God made, and God saw that everything He had made, He saw it was good. And also the other point that He made man in His own image and likeness. We see the word own, which I think is 7 as well. Let's just see, O-W-O-N. Yes, that's 7 as well. 16, 1 and 6 is 7. So we see, again, that is confirmation of the number 7. Own was there. God is own. Hence, we use the word own to identify ourselves as that unit of that seed that has been passed on to us. So own was in existence. it was on. I am just being creative with the word on, and it was OWN. Okay, and we see, no wonder why this W, which is that free, which is that W, which is M, is in the middle here. It's in the middle. And if we were to put the two end letters together, it would be on. On. ON, that would be, ON is 11. 6 and 5 is 11. There we have that 2. There we have that 2. If we added that 2, and of course with the W is 7. So 7 was there. Now we see how that W, which equals 5, which equals Eve, which equals Christ, which equals new, all that W is in here, in the middle. So this is where God is in the middle. So we see this is where the 3 and the W and the in that number 2 section of the template have been manipulated, because people have learned, the people who do that, they have learned the power of the W. The W, and this again, the W, as I have said in my other presentations, the W is two of you. So the W was in that middle here. Who was that other W in that when God made man in his own image and likeness? There was a double, a W. Now with W has to be of male and female. That's how God has done everything, a male part and a female part. So we see that has transpired with Adam and Eve, and then we are learning about Christ being the second Adam. But what about the second Eve? Wouldn't that mean that there had to be an Eve before? That there was that second Adam? And wouldn't it mean that it really made sense that there is or was an Adam, an Eve, and then Adam, and then there was Eve of eating of the fruit that we learn about, and then there's the other Adam, which is Christ? Well, I am just feeling that that makes perfect sense. Because it's like going through the generations. It's like our parents. Parents have their children, and their children have children. And there's that male and female. The genes are passed on. The opposites, the polarities, and all of those things are passed on. And that is the perfection of God. Everything He done was in twos. We see that with the story of Noah and the ark. Everything was in twos, male and female. So why haven't we been able to grasp this essence? In actual fact, what we have done, or adversely what we have done, is that cast Eve as the bad apple, or worse than she had eaten, because she was the one who committed all the sins, that, or the big sin that had done all of those things. Could it be that there had been a play of words? Not only that, there had been a play of words, because we see from the whole Bible as well that it's continually asking us to seek wisdom. It's continually asking us to ask, and ye shall receive. Seek, and ye shall find. If everything was in just plain sight, as is, which some things are, because we need to open our eyes, our third eyes, to see that. But then it wouldn't be asking us to, go through that dome of wisdom. That dome. There's a dome where, that ark, inside of our brain. That dome that has, which is the same dome that is being a child, again, we see those stories are being reflected here again. So in the wisdom, I have done the presentation on a mother's breast representing that wisdom, that nurturing, and that Passover, that winning of breastfeeding. So I am hoping that we can see or find some gem in these presentations. And of course, I want to just explore to further explore the word breathe, because there is really so much. Okay, and of course we will explore breathe, the past tense too, but there is a wonderful word in the middle, of the word breathe, which we have been talking about. So we see on either sides there are two letters. Now I haven't done the numerical value of the two letters, but we're going to do that now and see how they fare. Okay, so it's 8 and 5 here. 8 and 5 is 13. So let's do that. 8 and 5 is 13. So we see that breathing here, that on that side here, 1 and 3 is 4. So we see what happens in that sacrifice column where on the number 2, 13 is really the beehive. 13 is where so much happens. Okay, so we have 9 and 2 is 11. 11. 9, 10, 11. We are going by the face value of the B right now. So this is our here in case 11. So we have 2 and 4 gives us 6, which would be that the 6th day of creation. We could say that this is where God breathed life. God breathed life into man. Okay, so we have the word, of course, eat. We know that it is number 8, and it's here again in the middle of the word breathe, which consists of 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters. 7 letters corresponding perfectly with the 7th day of creation, with the 7th number for soul. So to breathe is soaring as well, so even in breath we know that when the breath has been taken away, it is cut away, 7 is still existing in that. So another point I really wanted to, of course, we see the word eat, and also it has at in it, this showing a position. At or at, it's showing a position that it is centered. All right. Another point I really wanted to make is that we can also draw on the idea or possibility from the scriptures too, that if, for instance, when God said, let us make man in our own image and likeness, yet still when we read further down, and he made man in his own image and likeness, that would mean, we could also say, that he had taken on all the attributes of man, whatever man consists of, because there had to be a seed that was passed on to man. We didn't make ourselves. We are told God made us in his image and likeness. And we are talking about this free will. Of course, that free will as well, that was passed on to us. And yet still we also learn that God knows from the beginning to the end. Beginning is 5. Now we see with Eve is 5. And end, the end here, the word end, equals, the word end equals 14. 1 4, which meant the 14 was divided. That was divided into 2. There would have to be that 2 from the beginning and the end. They're illustrating 2 entities or 2 sevens, some 2 soul, 2 C, I hope you have found this. I'm just trying to. In fact, before I close on this, let's just look at how 5. I know this is long, but it's the essence of what we are learning here that is really important right now. And of course, the breath that unless we we are really ready to come up for 5, take a break, a 5-minute break. Okay, so we can see here that for the 6 that I have just checked on the 13 at the end of the word breathe, and 2 and well, 13 is 4, of course, and 2 is 6. So we see that 6 brings us here. And of course, the eye here is also indicating the eye, the third eye that is opening that position. So the point as well I am wanting to make is that I believe every seed or every behavior or everything that has been passed on to us, we can actually, if we take the time, we can see that it has its root from beginning, which is the word beginning is number 9. Everything is number 9, and it says that God is the beginning and He is the end. He is the Alpha and the Omega, and that's another presentation I've got to make. So we see that 5 is really the end. It says the end here, but the end, of course, takes us to the beginning, which is 9. Is at the number 9. This is where we are birthing new life, of course. The end. This is the position that Eve was in. Of course, I thought it was really, round hair, but it's the other way around. It's the other way around, that this is the beginning, 9, and this is the end. And of course, we have this other cycle that we go through here. So basically, what we are learning, and this is what I mean about 9 and 5 having such a wonderful relationship, because that E with sacrifice here and 9 here, of course, of all the letters too, this is where I is. The I is there of the alphabet too, here. So it's the beginning here, and that is another thing. We see the clue. Let's follow this guidance here. The first word in the Bible, in the story of Genesis, begins with I-N. In. Everything that really matters is between I and N. It's no wonder I was feeling that I was unable or had no inclination to change the pattern or order of letters onto this side of this template. I could do this here, but not this side of the template. Everything happens between here, I and N. In the beginning. In. Of course, we have another in here. But in, it's like really there is no ending. And it says, I am the beginning and I am the end. So we see that both letters, like, no, not letters, in the beginning and the ending, of course, the the construct of 5 and 9, which is 14. And of course, 14 is what is divided into 7. So 7, let's say, I don't want to get into the implications of 7, but there would be 1 7 to see, and past tense of saw, and another. So there would be one physical see, or saw, SAW, past tense of see, and one spiritual one invisible one, because one invisible one and one active one. So that would perhaps really say that everything God did, there is the spiritual side to it and the material side, So, there is so much to all of this. I hope you have found this interesting, really. It's really been an eye-opener for me. I am really appreciating the insights of the or spirit guides as well. I believe have been helping us on this journey of actualizing self-full love. We have called in water. We have called in intuition. We called revelation. We call, of course, we hinge onto sacrifice. I always, in fact, I haven't called on my elders, which is 7 elders as well. And the 7 elders are faith, unity, endurance, forgiveness, conviction, and truth, and forgiveness. So these are the 4 elders that I tend to call upon more than often. They 7 elders that I encountered on my journey of actualizing self-full love, on this journey of the Crimson Light. This is volume 1. There's also volume 2. So I hope you have found this beneficial, and I hope you have found it fun. Please share and subscribe, and I thank you for watching. I hope we can move into this journey. I hope we can evolve. I hope we can share the beauty of this which we are discovering. All right, so in the meantime, stay blessed, be bright, and be a field, because the field, we are planting new seeds. We are planting new seeds because we want to move to the right. The right, which is from 5 to 9. We know where we are getting ignited right now. Thank you. Namaste. And spill over with love.